What's going on, YouTube? How y'all doing? As you can see, it's your boy Curbside coming to you with another video. Just got through working, finishing a nice long shift driving trucks, and I wanted to say, you know, what should I talk about today? Because I spent so much time thinking about what kind of videos, what kind of content that you might want to see. And I don't know if you ever just been a type of person where you're just so, if you only could be like this or be like that or have a perfect haircut, you could be fit, your money, everything is in a good place, and you got everything going perfect, you would be able to make content like the next person and produce the video and I don't know, just show the world you, because we get so much from consuming content from watching other people all the time, to the point it's like, I want to be like them, I want to be like her, him, and like how can a person produce videos and create all this content that we all consume that kind of helps us get through our shifts? And I'm gonna be honest, as a truck driver, sometimes it's, that gets us through our shifts. A lot of times when I'm driving or if I'm just unloading a truck or whatever, and I have my headphones, I have my, and I'm, listening to my favorite music, or I got my radio playing in the truck and I want to listen to somebody talk about something real motivational and kind of get me through these long days. You know what I'm saying? And I always fantasize when I see all the multiple numbers of the people making these videos, all this content, and saying I can do that, but I overthink. It's almost like I think myself out of not making a video. If you can relate to me, write in a comment, I can relate. Like I know there's got to be somebody out here that literally watches YouTube damn near almost like religiously, like to the point that like YouTube almost has turned into like the new TV. Really, I think it's really like TV to me. I don't even really call it YouTube. I just call it TV. Like it's a handheld TV. It's to the point where people be at home watching their big screen TVs and they're still watching YouTube. I'm like, well, what the hell? Like, what? YouTube has took over TV, like the actual TV in your living room. But I digress. The reason why I made this video today, I just wanted to touch on what I've learned from being a truck driver for 10 years. All the important lessons I've learned from being in this career, the takeaways, the stuff that I wish I knew, and the stuff that I now know, and the stuff that if you're starting, and right now it's a time right now where it's wide open. With I don't know if you're familiar with a lot of the illegal immigrants that was had a whole bunch of license and CDLs, and all the CDLs got revoked. So a lot of trucking companies are going to be needing new drivers like never before. And if you're new, you're young, you're hungry, you're trying to figure out how can I make a good living, but I'm not the person graduating, with a 4-year degree or an Ivy League or any type of trade school, but I kind of want to do something to have my own thing where I can get into it, learn the skill, learn how to drive a truck, learn how to back up and do all these different things, and I can make good money and I can transition to other things later on in life. trucking would be a great career. But I want to just talk about today, specifically, what you need to know and certain things you need to consider before you even start driving trucks. That's what I want to talk about in this video. And the first thing that helped me when I first got into trucking is a good support system. When I say a good support system will be the make or break when it comes to starting trucking, it is the make or break. And I want to talk about like my situation specifically. When I started, my dad was behind me 100%. He pushed me for years to get into it, and I kind of like was thinking about it like, maybe I'll do it later, I'll do it next year, or I'll do it later, whatever. But he always told me, just even if I don't do it, it's good to have a CDL in your back pocket. You know what I'm saying? Just get it. If you want to drive trucks, you don't want to drive it, at least you have your CDL. So when I really took it seriously, I got to a point in my life where if you got any type of common sense or you kind of want to live life and you just don't want to just be working at a job, just doing a mundane job, doing the same thing all over and over and not being able to pay your bills, you kind of get to a point where like, man, these jobs ain't paying enough. These jobs are not paying enough. And even now, with the rates, I'm talking about when we talk about a good paying job was like considered like $12 an hour. Or $10 an hour was like actually considered good. And that don't say much. But even then, I was like, I gotta do something. My girl, she was like a little nervous because she was so used to like seeing me every day, being my support system, giving my kisses and my hugs and my sugar and all of that. And she was just like, hey baby, if you feel like you can do it, go do it. So here it is, I had my girl, I had my family, I had my friends, like everybody was on board. Like everybody was like, do it, you can do it. So I had that support system. What I didn't realize is when I was gonna have to use those same support systems as lifelines on those long, cold, dark, lonely nights over the road, driving in the mountains, half asleep, tired, frustrated, lost, breakdowns, frustrated, hungry, stranded, breakdowns on the side of the road. The list goes on. And when you have a support system in your first year of driving trucks, it goes a long way. Because as you're experiencing all these life-changing, let's say you drive somewhere and you see the most beautiful sunrise, like if you're driving through Arizona. They're like notoriously known for some of the most beautiful sunrises that you'll ever see, for skylines, and certain places where you'll see certain beautiful reddish mountains in the mountains of New Mexico, and you'll go to Denver and you'll go through the mountains of Denver and all the mountains and the valleys of Montana and the different animals and mooses and deers and horses and all kind of stuff. And depending on whatever season you in, you will see some stuff that you kind of want to experience it, but when you don't have your partner, your family, your friends, all these experiences is going to make you feel lonely in a way, because you want to share those moments with people that you care about, people you love, obviously, but they're not on the road with you. If you got somebody in the truck with you, which is later on in your career or whatever, past that, the more the merrier. That's awesome. But we're speaking about day ones, just fresh out the gate. You're starting it. You made a commitment to drive trucks, and you like, I want to do this, but you got to have that. Now, on the flip side of those lifelines, when you're fatigued, and I'm going to touch on this later, but you also want to have a good mentor, a person that's like driving you and training you, that cares about your life and not so much the load that you're hauling. If your trainer cares more about the load than your life, get you another trainer. Now, I don't need to go in more detail to that. If you have a trainer that literally indicates that the load that you guys are hauling is more important than you, or the point that he's driving so crazy to the point that he's putting your life in line, keep in mind, these trucks have beds in the back. They have the bed. I don't know if you're familiar with truckers, but it's always like a bed in the back and a place where you can sleep while your other drivers driving and all of that stuff. So it's a lot of trust that goes into it. But before we get to the trust of you and your mentor, that's another video. You definitely want to have a lifeline when you're driving, when you're tired, you're fatigued, and you have your headset on and you call baby girl and like, hey, you know, and you tell her about how your day was. And make sure that your lifeline ain't one of them type of people that like to start arguments about orange juice and did you eat the last bag of potato chips. Like, don't, if that's your lifeline, wait till y'all get home. If you got somebody that want to bitch and moan about nonsense, you might want to just save those conversations, tell it off to when y'all get home. If you feel like your partner's like getting on a tangent, and just be like, hey, I'm thinking about you. You was on my mind. I just wanted to call you. I wanted to hear your voice. And you can like throw a little sugar on top of that cookie, and you can just go ahead, holler at her later, or her or him, or whatever the situation is, when you get home. But a lot of times when you're tired, fatigued, just having that 1 hour conversation will save your life. It will help you get to that gas station so you can shut down. And also, you also want to have somebody that prays for you while you're over the road, somebody that motivates you. So a lot of times people get into the money, they focus on the money. All of that stuff comes later. But when you're first starting, you just want to have a great support system, because the hours upon hours that you put in the trucking, it's worth it. But when you start, you're not going to see none of that. All you're going to be seeing is the fact that you're lonely, you're missing your loved ones, but you can still use your love, your missing, and all this other stuff. You can use all that to your benefit. And how you use it to your benefit is you use them as a lifeline. You make sure that when you call them, you let them know what you saw. You take pictures. You get postcards. You know, when you're tired, you reach out. You remind people that, hey, I'm not out here by myself. I have you back at home supporting me and keeping me going, so that when I come home, this is the part where it's all awesome and when it all pays dividends. Is when you get home from doing that long trip and that long route, and you make it back safe and sound. You look at your partners a little bit different. You appreciate if your girl changed her hair or makeup, or like you start appreciating your family a little bit more, because you understand, you know, when you miss them, you don't see them all the time, you're not always accessible to your friends and family. When you have a beer or you go out and you do certain stuff, you kind of like appreciate everything just a little bit more. So in this video, I didn't want to make it too long, but I just wanted to make this video, and I'm going to try to make more content, and we're going to see from here, if you watch all the way up to this point, at 14 going on 15 minutes. Shout out to you. You're a real curbside. And if you like video and content like this, where I'm talking about, my stuff that I do, talk about stuff that relates to me, subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment about what you guys want to know about trucking. If you got any questions or anything about that, trust me, I've been in the game like over 10 years. It's not anything that I haven't done in trucking. And if I can be of help, shit, I would definitely gladly respond to you. But like I said, I just want to cut this off right here and say, man, appreciate you. This is your boy Curbside, and your boy's out.